Selamat pagi, saya Yeremia Bayu. Saya di sini akan mencoba menjelaskan materi web design and development pada week 10. Week 10 akan membahas soal reusable template. What is a reusable template? Before you begin using jQuery, you should have or obtain knowledge of the following: HTML and cascading style sheets or CSS, text editors and web browsers, and basic JavaScript. What is a reusable project template? Most websites have a specific layout that is generic across most, if not all, of its pages. This is true for responsive and non-responsive websites. Usually, a website has a header and a footer that incorporate the website's brand and style and is used on all pages. Some websites also have a sidebar that is used on all pages, like this YouTube. Let's look at YouTube. On homepage, a header and a video recommendation appear. Scrolling to the bottom shows the footer with useful links after all of the video recommendations. Now let's open a video and see how the top of the page looks. How about the header? How about the footer at the bottom of the page? Development environment prerequisites. For normal fronted-only websites, start by creating the code files and running them directly in a browser for testing. But this doesn't allow us to create a reusable project template, as we discussed previously. To create a template like this, we need a back-end server-side language. One example is to use PHP, but any language will suffice, and this template will be easy to adapt. Responsive design philosophy. Responsive web design is a method that allows the design to respond based on the user's input and environment, and thus based on the size of the screen, the device, and its orientation. This philosophy blends elements of flexible grids and layouts, images and media queries in CSS. Responsive versus adaptive. Responsive designs constantly change website layouts depending on their size and orientation. A single pixel resize will tend to have an effect on the layout, usually not by a lot. Adaptive themes, on the other hand, have preset layouts, which are loaded depending on the size of the screen. This technique doesn't look as fluid and seamless as do responsive designs. Modern-day responsive web design usually incorporates both methods. Set layouts will be provided, and as can be seen in the previous figure, but any changes made to a website's size will have an impact in real time through responsive scaling. Responsive grid and columns. The grid system is one of the universal concepts of responsive web design. Regardless of the framework a website is built upon. To put it simply, websites are split into rows and columns, and if an object or element occupies half the number of columns, it will always occupy that many regardless of the screen size. So, an element that occupies 3 of the 12 rows will occupy 25% of the width of its parent container, hence providing responsive design. This is great for small variation in screen size, but when a website is viewed on platforms varying from desktop to mobiles, then breakpoints are introduced. Breakpoints. Breakpoints are points at which a website's layout is no longer fit for the screen size, device, and/or orientation. And it is possible to use different and unique layouts to accommodate the various changes that can occur to screen. When these points occur, the current layout is switched for a more suitable layout. Previous story of Bootstrap. In 2011, Bootstrap was created by two Twitter employees, Mark Otto and Jacob Thornton, to address the issue of fragmentation of internal tools or platforms. Bootstrap aimed to provide consistency among different web applications that were internally developed to reduce redundancy and increase adaptability and reusability. As digital creators, we should always aim to make our applications adaptable and reusable. This will help keep coherency between applications and speed up processes, as we won't need to create basic foundation over and over again. For example, a website might have a login system, which is not unique to one project, but prevalent in many, and therefore reusing already existing code for this makes sense. Bootstrap has a lot more added features. It is packed with styled user interface components of commonly used interfaces on a website, such as buttons, navigation, pagination, and forms. Beyond that, Bootstrap is also powered with some custom jQuery plugins, such as a tab, carousel, popover, and modal box. To get started with Bootstrap, you can follow the tutorial series in the link provided. The cons using a framework also comes with its own problems. The most common problems found when adopting a framework are as follows: excessive codes, learning curve, less flexibility. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for listening.